Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Cox, and I'm going to be your professor for this U.S. history class at Mesa College. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I graduated from high school in 1973. I joined the Navy during the Vietnam War. I was in the Navy for 10 years, and then I sobered up and said, I'm in the what? And got out of the Navy. I went to college and studied computer science, and I worked in industry. I worked at Hewlett-Packard for many years. And then I went mad and decided I'd rather teach history than make money. So I went back to college, got a BA in history, graduated magna cum laude. I went to the University of California for graduate study. I got an MA and PhD in Latin American history. My specialty is modern Mexico, and my teaching fields are U.S. and world history. I've been teaching here at Mesa College since 2004. I actually retired in 2020, and I've been teaching online since 2020, since the beginning of the pandemic, and that's basically it for me. So again, I'd like to welcome you to the class, and I'm going to go over some introductory material with you today. So these are the things that we're going to be covering today. First, we've already done kind of this thing, a short introduction. We'll go through a few of the ground rules, and then we're going to go through some parts of the syllabus, even though I'm not going to go through the whole thing. And I'll tell you why when we get to the syllabus, and then I'll introduce you to our Canvas page. Everybody's ideas are welcome, as long as you can present them in a way that's not offensive and in a way that is supported by facts. So we don't have to agree with each other, but we do have to agree to disagree with each other. And then we have to base our ideas on facts and evidence. Facts and evidence means things that we can actually prove, not what I heard from my cousin or what I read on Facebook. There's people, I don't know who you are right now. I've never seen any of you at this point, but I know there are people from all backgrounds here. And that is what makes us stronger. We can learn from each other. We're all immigrants, and the limits of tolerance are, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, that we will tolerate essentially everything except for intolerance. And I'm just going to run through this little exercise that you may or may not have ever seen or heard of, The Paradox of Tolerance by Karl Popper. And this was written right after World War II. And what had happened in Germany was that the Germans had elected the Nazis, and the Nazis were intolerant. And so when they were getting ready to elect the Nazis, the idea was, well, everything's going really bad right now. We might as well give them a chance. And so the tolerant people gave the intolerant people a chance. The intolerant people came into power and wiped out tolerance. And so that's the paradox. The paradox of tolerance is that if you tolerate intolerance, you will lose tolerance. So anyway, that's just something that you guys can think about, and particularly to practice or think about practicing in our interactions with each other. Okay, well, let's go over the syllabus for this semester. The thing that I want to point out to begin with is that we're not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to go over the high points, and then we will be, as we go through the course, I will show you the things that you need to know in the syllabus when you need to know them. And the reason for this is because most of you probably are taking several classes with several different syllabi, with several different professors, and So when the professor reads the syllabus on the first day, and all the professors do the same, you're confused and you don't know what's going on anyway. So it's better to go just keep on track with what's going on in the syllabus as we go through the course than to try to get everything on the first day. All right. So having said that, hopefully you know that we're at San Diego Mesa College, and this is History 109, History of the United States 1. And it's the spring, even though it doesn't feel like spring so much outside right now. My name, as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Keith Cox. This is my phone number. Let me just tell you about the phone number. It's not actually a phone number. I mean, it is a phone number, but it's not hooked up to a phone. It's hooked up to a voicemail that I've never used since I've been here in 2004. The reason why it's on here is because I'm told I must put a telephone number on my syllabus, so there it is. But as I mentioned, I never check it. So the best way to use this is when you get mad at me, you can call me up on that number and say, Professor Cox, you're a big fat idiot, and you'll be happy because you said it, and I'll be happy because I didn't hear it. And if you really do want to get a hold of me, then the best thing to do actually is to send me an email. And I will be holding office hours. I'm not so sure right now what time that will be, but it will be on Zoom, and I'll publish that on Canvas. And what I hope to be able to do is to find a time when you guys are available to meet. And if you are, if you're not available during the time that I'm set aside, then we can work out some other time. Okay, so just leave that there. This is all the stuff that's put in there. It's boilerplate. I must put it in there. These are the different kinds of things that we'll be doing. You'll notice I put discussions here, and you're saying, well, how can we discuss if we're doing distance learning? And most of the discussions, in my opinion, unfortunately, will be online. But we're going to try to have real discussions anyway, not just post a bunch of stuff and pretend like you're paying attention to what other people post. There's going to be 4 exams, as it's described down in the text here, 2 textbook exams and 2 midterm, or a midterm and a final exam. And then there's going to be a kind of a research, in a way, project at the end, and this will be a group project, and I'll set that up for you all later. So anyway, the point is that altogether you're going to be able to get 1,000 points. And also, I will be adding extra credit every now and then. What I do basically is when I find something that's very interesting in my reading, I'll often post it as extra credit for the students, and you guys can take that opportunity to make up for anything that you might have missed, because as you'll find out, some of the work cannot be turned in late, and also there are no makeup exams. So if you, for some reason, have to miss these things, you will be able to make up some of the points using extra credit. Okay. All right. So I was going to ask if there were any questions, but obviously, if there are, I couldn't answer them. All right. So anyway, now here's the thing. I actually got I found a textbook online. It's called The American Yawp. It's on Stanford University website. And let me just see if I can open it up here for you. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is actually the link to it. And then this is all the different chapters for our course. You will find that I've identified different chapters for different modules in the course as we go through the course. And I think it's a pretty good textbook, particularly considering that it's free. So this is the first time I've actually used it, but we're going to go ahead and use this one for this course. I'm also using it for my U.S. History 2 course at the same time. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully it'll work out well. The thing about the textbook is, just so that we know, is that I'm not going to be teaching from the textbook, but I do highly recommend reading the textbook, because it'll give you background information to talk about, to understand the things that I'm talking about in class. So as you'll see as we go through the course, you'll see I've divided the course up into different topics, and then I will be talking about, there's no way that I can cover everything, so I'm going to be covering things that I think are important, but they will be amplified by what you read in the textbook. And so the main reason why then is to help you understand the material. The second reason why, and the reason why I give you textbook exams, is because there will be two exams that will be based solely on the contents of the textbook. And if you haven't read the textbook, you will have difficulty passing those exams. So that's the reason for that. Okay. Then we're going to be reading some other documents. There's actually 3 books. And then there's some other documents, and those are all going to be on Canvas. These books, I think that the Locke and the Douglas are available online. I'm not exactly sure, and I will be looking at that, but I think that you can get those online, so you don't have to buy those. This one here, you do have to buy. It's not very expensive, and it's a really good book to talk about the structure of our government, kind of the history of our founding documents. So that one you're going to have to buy, but I think it's less than $10. So altogether then, in terms of the materials for this course, you shouldn't have to spend more than about $10, and I think that's about it, unless you want to buy these other books, and even them, they are not very expensive. So then moving along, there's some other kind of boilerplate material. The thing that you need to know about, obviously, is that everything is going to be done on Canvas. So if you don't know how to use Canvas, you need to go through, there's a tutorial, I'm sure, online that will help you with that. Okay, and then these are just some information about the different things that are going to be coming up. So some of these I've already mentioned. The one thing I guess I want you to know, the syllabus is here. It's always going to be on Canvas. And if I do change it, I will let you know that I changed it, but you will have to keep up with it online. So the best thing to do is just leave it online. Don't bother printing it out, because you're just wasting paper. Okay. I'll go over the structure of the lectures here in just a few minutes, but for now, just don't know that I've created modules with lectures that most of them come from my earlier classes that I taught online, and you will be able to, I've divided them up into segments where you can watch the segment and then answer a few questions about that segment, so that, just to make sure that you understand it, and then you can move on to the next lecture. Okay, and then we'll just leave that. The last thing I think I want to do is to point out that this is, at the last page, has got a schedule. It's not divided up into dates like it would be for a normal class, because obviously we're not meeting at any time altogether. So I am assuming that on the first day you're actually dealing with this welcome video that I put together for you, and then there's going to be a couple of assignments. The first one having to do with basically introducing ourselves to each other, and the other one has to do with why do we study history, which I'm going to go over some of that here in a few minutes. Then we'll start on the lecture modules, okay? And again, I'll show you how that works here in a few minutes, all right? So here you can see that for Module 1, you should probably have already read the American Yop 1, And then there's going to be a discussion on Locke that will come up as part of Module 1. And then we'll talk about the Spanish conquest and things like that. One thing that you'll notice is that you can't go out of order. You have to do this in order, and that's obviously for a reason, because history actually happens chronologically. All right. So I think that's about it for the syllabus. If you have any questions about anything, make sure you drop me a line, send me an email, and I will I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Now I want to spend a few minutes talking about how we navigate on Canvas to work through our course materials. So the first thing is, this is obviously the Mesa College website, and you'll notice that at the top there's a link to Canvas. So if you click on that, it'll bring you to the login page, and then you can put your student number here and a password. If you don't have a password, it's your birthday. Like for me, it would be 07021955. So you guys can, first of all, send me birthday cards and with checks in them. And secondly, you can put your own number in there, and that'll get you into Canvas. All right. So once you get into Canvas, it will look something like this. Except that, of course, this is all the different classes I've taught on Canvas, and so you won't see that. What you will see is in this upper left-hand corner, you'll see a link to our course. This is not our course. This is last semester's course, but this is our course, and it will be up there when the class starts. So when you're looking at the website, it'll look like this. So anyway, if we open it up, and the first thing you see is a list of all the modules, and that's going to be our home page for the course. And then what you'll notice is that the modules are divided up into different segments, or they contain different materials. So let's just look a little bit at some of them. The first one here is the syllabus. Okay, the syllabus is located here. So if you want to, if you need to, you should actually go and check the syllabus. This is where you would do it at, and it loads it up in another window, and then you can look at it there. Okay. Also, when we are on the home page, one thing I want you to notice, well, we're going to be doing an online discussion starting tonight and lasting for a week. And all I'm going to tell you right now is that this is the link to it. So you need to go to it and follow the instructions, and you'll be able to see, should be able to see exactly how to do this. All right. So go ahead and do that as soon as you can. And then also another thing that you'll notice here is that I put a study guide for the midterm. Okay, it says exam 1, but it means the midterm. Okay, and what this study guide is a series of questions based on the material that I will be presenting in video lectures. Okay, so there's 18 different questions. The midterm will consist of probably 5 questions. And I'll give you 10 questions, and you'll have to answer 5. All right, so I don't know which 10 I'm going to pick. I haven't made the midterm yet. But the purpose of this is so that as you're going through the video lectures, you keep in mind what are these questions that I'm asking. And you'll notice that they're all in chronological order, in the order that I would present things in videos. And hopefully, as you go through the videos, you will be able to know what the answers to these questions are, and you can answer them. This will be helpful to you so that when we do actually get to the midterm, you'll already know all the answers and you can get an A. So this is the purpose of the study guide. It's not something that you should, let sit there until the night before the midterm and then go look everything up on on Wikipedia, because I don't want to know what Wikipedia says about anything. I just want you to know, I want you to be able to tell me what I taught you in the video lectures. So just read the instructions and follow them, and that will be to your benefit. Okay? Now, going back then to the Canvas, we're going to start, in theory, we're starting next week. And a couple of things that you'll notice here is that I give you a link to my video presentation of the material that we're going to be talking about. So this is what is going to be, these are the presentations that are going to be in the videos, okay? So you can go and look at them. What you'll notice then is when I actually give you a lecture, I'm going through that presentation. So you can follow along, or you can go back and review, or whatever you want to do with that, okay? So then each one of the major kind of subsections here is accompanied by a number of different videos. The first one here is what I call the Western History Timeline. Again, these are things that you're going to be looking at online, okay? And what you'll notice is that I have a series of videos, and I've embedded the videos in the assignments, all right? So your assignment then would be to watch the video. Let's see here.
We're going to actually just jump right in, and there's going to be a lot of information today.
So I'm not going to go through this obviously right now, but what I want you to notice is that it is here. This one is about 5 minutes long. And then at the end of watching that, you answer these questions. You know what I didn't do? I didn't put it on student view. So this is the student view, right? Okay, well, darn. I can't unlock it right now, okay? But let me just mention to you then that there's going to be a place for you to submit answers underneath the questions. And I want you to submit the answers online. And what I will do is I will go and I will check each of your answers, and I will either say, okay, that's right, or else I'll tell you what's wrong with it, or I'll give you a hint about it, trying to get you to think about it. And then once you have successfully answered the questions, then I will mark this assignment as complete, okay? The reason why that's important is because if you get all of the assignments complete before the midterm, you don't have to take the midterm, because you will have already answered essentially all the information that I wanted you to answer on the midterm, all right? But if you don't get them all complete, then you will still have to take the midterm, okay? So that's the reason for that. Let me go back then to our home, and then you'll see that there are a number. One thing that you will notice when you get in is that you have to do this one first, and then you can do this one. If you have not completed this one, you can't go to this one, and it's going to be that way all the way through. So you have to finish one before you go to the next one. They have to all be done in order, all right? And I think that that's probably it for right now. One thing that you'll know is that, I should tell you right now anyway, is that this will be changing over time. So as we go through the course, I will be adding more things to the website, okay? So we'll just leave it at that for now. And again, if you have any questions, you should let me know by sending me an email, or send me an email.